The order, business meeting to order. We have our pledge of allegiance and invocation by Councilman Hester.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious, oh, wise, true, living God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace, your mercy, your long suffering. We thank you for your people. We thank you for the mayor of this city, his administration. We thank you for this council, Lord. And Lord, most of all, we pray this meeting may be done decently in order. For it's in Jesus' name I pray and ask it all. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. We have no special presentations. Can I get approval on the minutes? Okay. Minutes have been approved. We'll stand without objection. Madam Clerk, on the ordinance's final reading, could you read item A?
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 10, Section 10-5, as amended as to exclude certain property located at 481 Sherlock Road to be removed from the Brainerd Road Fire District boundary subject to certain conditions.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On the first reading, planning item, yes, enable key. All right, go ahead. All right. Planning item A, the staff version.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 706 and 17 Manufacturers Road from M1 Manufacturing Zone to RRV6 Riverview Zone and RRF6 Riverfront Zone subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you just check to make sure the applicant and if there's any opposition right quick?
Sure. Is the applicant available here? Thank you so much. Is there any opposition?
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Karen, if you could come forward right quick, and then I do have and we don't need a full presentation, but I would like to make, I think, an amendment to this. Staff version, just for the record, staff version limits the stories to 5, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's in the record, and that's the version that I'll be moving. And I do have a question for the applicant at the time. So it's my understanding you'd like to do like a rooftop patio deck area up there. And I just want to make sure, I have no problem with that, but I just want to make sure that we don't go up there and cover the whole rooftop with a pergola or some kind of structure. So I guess my question would be, would you be amenable to maybe 30% or no more than 30% of the roof being covered with some kind of structure?
Yes, we're amenable to that.
Okay, all right. Karen, I guess as far as an amendment, how would we word that? Limited to 5 stories, excluding the rooftop patio structure, limited to 30% of the rooftop coverage. How would we need to word that?
Maximum building height of 5 stories excluding rooftop patio structure. Rooftop patio structure should not exceed 30% of building of rooftop footprint.
Is the applicant
Yes.
agreeable to that? Mr. Attorney, do you have that?
Yes, sir.
Wording on that amendment?
Yes, sir.
All right, so at this time, I want to move for approval the staff version conditioned to 5 stories.
The motion properly seconded. Did you want to do add the amendment?
All right, now I move to amend with language, limited to 5 stories excluding rooftop
No more than 30% of the rooftop to be covered with any structure.
Okay, is that good?
And that includes that the 5 stories excludes the rooftop patio.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that is in the form of a motion.
All right. The amendment has been moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? All right, amendment passes.
All right, I'd like to move as amended.
All right, has been moved and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, if you could read item B.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 4980 Lily Lane from R2 residential zone to C2 convenience commercial zone subject to certain conditions.
Is the applicant present? I see no applicant. Is opposition present? Okay. Councilman Ledford?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been following this case in District 4, and I see there is no opposition. I have not heard of any. With that, I'd like to move to approve, please.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 1204, 1208, and an unaddressed parcel in the 1200 block of East 35th Street Place, 1214 and 1216 East 35th Street Place from R2 residential zone and R5 residential zone to M1 manufacturing zone, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, is the applicant present? Okay, is any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I move to approve.
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Item D, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone unaddressed property in the 1700 block of Mulberry Street from R2 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, is the applicant present? All right. Is the opposition present? Okay, I see no opposition. Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I move to approve.
Right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes. Madam Clerk, item E.
Which version would you like for me to read, Madam Chair?
I'm sorry, would you read the alternate version?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2001 Riverside Drive from M1 manufacturing zone to C2 convenience commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? All right, any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I move to approve.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Item F, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 850 Oak Street from R3 residential zone to R4 special zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present? Is the applicant, any opposition present? Okay, Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I move to approve.
Is any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes. Madam Clerk, if you read item G.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2701 Benton Avenue from M1 manufacturing zone to R3 residential zone.
All right, is the applicant present? Okay, thank you. Any opposition present? Okay, Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I am asking that we defer this for 1 week until, I had a conversation with Ms. Ford, and so she's going to decide exactly what she wants to do as far as that property is concerned. So I ask that we defer it until May the 16th.
All right. Second. Okay, we have a motion, proper second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Read item H, please, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1013 South Greenwood Avenue from R1 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant present?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman Knoll.
Madam Chair Dotley, I once again would like to defer until 5/16, 1 week, to have a conversation with Mr. George in reference to an alternative situation to be placed there.
In the 60.
Yeah, second, all right, on May 16th, yes. All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes. Madam Clerk, if you could read item I, the alternate version.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 11, Article 20, Short-Term Vacation Rental Certificate, and creating a new Chapter 38 zoning, Division 27, uses requiring short-term vacation rental certificates.
All right, Councilman Smith.
Thank you, ma'am. Move approval of the alternate version.
Okay, all right, it's been motioned and properly second. Comments or questions? I have Councilwoman Knoll and then Councilwoman Hill.
I was going to second, but that's, okay, we're good. Thank you.
All right, had several seconds for that one.
Yes.
All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? Oh, Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I had a conversation with Dan Router just a few minutes ago, and he reminded me that it was a year ago that the Short-Term Vacation Rental Committee started working on this legislation. And it sort of took a while, but it's come full circle back to the floor now. And while it doesn't include all zones at this time, this legislation does open the door to take short-term vacation rentals citywide. And I appreciate the work that this committee did on this legislation, along with the valuable input from Mr. Chris Acuff. He was a valuable source of information. And I just want to thank all the committee members for their diligence and for their work on this.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilman Henderson, Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me also clarify that when we say take it citywide, that's in commercial zones. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the clarity.
Before District 4 residents start to crowd my inbox.
All right, so we had any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion passes. Woo. All right. Under resolutions, if council has no objections, I would like to take items A and B as a group. All right, Madam Clerk.
Item A, a resolution authorizing the City of Chattanooga to allocate $15,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds to the East Brainerd Youth Athletic Association for the renovation and upgrading of publicly accessible facilities and amenities located at the Batters Place Road Sports Complex. Item B, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Parks and Outdoors to accept an award of $40,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds to enter into an agreement with Hamilton County's Department of Parks and Recreation for the purposes of making improvements and upgrades to Ben Miller Park.
All right, council, what's your pleasure? Second. All right, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, item C.
A resolution confirming the appointment of Samantha Lund to the Animal Control Board for District 3 with a term beginning May 10, 2023 and ending May 9, 2026.
Move approval.
Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Under Economic Development, I would like to take items D and E as a group, if there are no objections from council. I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilman Smith.
Go ahead.
Okay. Items D and E, Madam Clerk.
Item D, a resolution to make certain findings relating to the Corsa Inc. project, to delegate certain authority to the Industrial Development Board of the City of Chattanooga, and to authorize the mayor to enter into and execute an agreement for payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes. Item E, a resolution approving the acceptance and distribution of fiscal year 2023-2024 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Act, Home Funds, from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and program income, all totaling approximately $3,191,716, as shown fully herein below.
All right, Councilwoman Coonrod. Move to approve. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am going to also second, but if you don't mind, may I ask, Commissioner, if you'd mind coming up to the mic, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Thank you for being here this evening. This is in reference to item D on the Cordza project. I didn't have any further questions. We've been over this many times over a good duration. This is really the last step, and I just wanted to say thank you again for your dedication and commitment to our city, to our county, and to the growth of this particular area that is in my district and the number of jobs. And not only that, but the willingness and actually excitement around mentorship programs that you are willing to do to continue to offer opportunity to citizens of this area that may not be suited for a position right away and may not be suited to even attend certain types of education that allows that opportunity, but you are opening the door for them, sir, and that is incredibly admirable and remarkable to get from our local businesses, and I hope this is a first step of other organizations following suit and doing the same thing for a lot of our citizens that just don't have the resources and opportunities to improve themselves, yet they just need a little extra help and a little opportunity, and you're providing that. And I just wanted to say thank you again, sir, and I am so happy and proud to move approval.
Thank you very much. We're excited to be here. We're excited to call Chattanooga our home, and this is where we wanted to be all along. And I really want to say thank you to each of you for the job that you do. Thank you to Jermaine Freeman for the tenacity that he's had all the way through this entire process. Jermaine has done a wonderful job, as well as Mr. Steve Hyatt and Charles Wood with our local chamber. So thank you very much. Cordza is excited to break ground.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. It's been motioned and properly second. Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, you read item F.
A resolution authorizing the city of Chattanooga to apply for and, if awarded, to accept a Land and Water Conservation Fund, LWCF Outdoor Recreation Legacy Partnership, ORLP grant for the completion of Phase 3 of the Alton Park Connector in the amount of $4,729,252.44 with a match not to exceed $4 million.
All right, Councilman Ledford.
I move to approve, Madam Chair.
All right, I think I heard a second. Several motions to approve. Has been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion passes. Madam Clerk, item G.
A resolution authorizing the appointment of Doug Pell as a special police officer unarmed for the Department of Public Works Transportation Division to do special duty as prescribed herein in his position as transportation inspector subject to certain conditions.
Okay, council?
Second.
All right, it's been motioned properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Now we have our purchases.
Good evening.
Good evening, Brooke.
We have two purchases recommended for approval this evening. The first is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a new blanket contract for truck, trailer accessories, and trailer maintenance. 4 bids were requested and 1 was returned. It was re-advertised and resulted in no additional bids. This will be a 4-year agreement not to exceed $125,000 per year. The award will go to Truck and Trailer USA as the best and only bidder for the city of Chattanooga. And second, from the Community Development Department, this is a 3-month extension to the existing agreement with Help Right Here for the management of the sanctioned homeless encampment. This extension will result in an increase of $40,925 for a total contract amount of $204,625.
Second. Okay, it's been motioned and properly second. Any comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? Purchase is passed. Go ahead.
We have one emergency purchase to report this evening, and this purchase is from the wastewater department for a title search deed and a title policy for property related to the E2I2 project. The wastewater department has engaged the Title Guarantee and Trust Company of Chattanooga to address a title deficiency and to secure title insurance for the E2I2 project site at Corneliuson Road, which is in the process of being transferred from WWTA to the city. The cost of the work is high due to the title insurance for the $50 million plus value of the asset being constructed on the site. This work is time-sensitive due to the fact that the construction notice to proceed for E2I2 cannot be issued until this is addressed, and we are time-constrained due to WIFIA, the EPA program, providing 49% of the project funding. This total cost of this emergency purchase was $69,055.
All right, thank you so much for the report. All right, we have now committee reports. Councilman Henderson. No report. Councilman Smith. No report, Madam Chair. Councilman Ledford. No report, Madam Chair. Councilman Hester.
No report.
All right. Councilwoman Coonrod. Councilwoman Knoll.
No report, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Yes, ma'am. We began our budget education sessions today, and we will continue next week, beginning at 10:30.
All right, thank you. And Madam Vice Chair Hill.
Thank you, Chair. We did have a meeting of the Affordable Housing Committee today. It was a meeting to review some initial findings of our market value analysis report that's being completed by the Reinvestment Fund. This is a detailed analysis of our housing markets that will ultimately help guide our investments in affordable housing. Our next meeting of the Affordable Housing Committee will be May 23rd, when we will have a presentation and an update from the Eviction Prevention Initiative.
All right, thank you so much. All right, now comes time of people wishing to address the council. If you would like, you can go ahead and line up at this podium here. And City Attorney, would you please read the rules?
Sure. At the end of every council meeting, the chairperson will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council. Here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized up front for the microphone that is provided for that purpose. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can only address the council upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not upon matters which are not under the authority of the council or regulated by other government bodies or agencies. Don't engage in any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Address your comments to the council as a whole and not make comments towards individual council members. And please don't engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting which is prohibited under Tennessee law. And someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir.
Please be sure to state your name and district number.
Thank you. My name's Michael Martin, born and raised here. My family's been here since the 1800s. I love the city. I'm proud to say that. The police department, I looked at the budget today and I watched as we went through the budget educations. We spent several minutes on the library. We spent several minutes on city council's budget. But our police chief was in and out in 180 seconds. The crime in the city has not gone down. It's not gone down at all. And with our growth, I'm asking that the city council, with the mayor, the CFO, and Police Chief Murphy, we go look at that budget. I only saw $975,000 added to payroll. And we're putting $18 million towards a bridge. And we need the bridge, and that's probably some federal funds. But my point being that we need more boots on the ground as a deterrent. Our police do a wonderful job. They get called after the crime. We solve a lot of crimes in this city, and we do very good at that. We can't predict crime, but we can have a deterrent. And we need police, we need boots on the ground. So we did $750 from what I saw to overtime, which takes overtime to $2 million. $2 million, but that's part of doing business, right? Overtime with the police department. But only $976,000 to payroll. We need more officers. It's not that easy. No one wants to be a police officer anymore. We've got to raise the pay. Look what the county did. raise the pay, get the officers in there, and let's keep them boots on the ground. We talked about growth a while ago. Our city, I've seen it grow. We've all seen it grow. But in 15 years, we're just going to have condos on the riverfront that look like the iron that we have there now if we don't get control of the crime in the city. I know crime's up across the country. I don't care about the rest of the cities. I only care about Chattanooga. I'm here just to say, not to bash the budget, not to bash Kelly, not to bash the police department, but to ask you, before we finalize those budgets, go back. Can we take a 0.5% here? Can we take a 0.5% there? Can we add more officers to our streets? Because that's what we need. I don't think we can ask anybody in this room or up here that's been here for a lengthy time that thinks that our city's safer today than it was 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years ago, no matter how we put those reports out, same day last 2 weeks or same day last 3 months. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, City Council. I'll wait for the clock to start. Thank you. Mariemont District 8. George Bernard Shaw said, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." I'm proud to be back from Palo Alto, California. Marquez Thompson, my mentee, has committed to Stanford on scholarship, and after $1.4 million in scholarships, he is one of 4 valedictorians at Brainerd High School. One of 4. That's amazing. I think that the young people at Brainerd deserve a clap. 4 valedictorians. I think that's historical. I wanted to speak to something very important this evening, because I'm currently going through a program at Harvard Business School with Dr. Linda Hill, who wrote an excellent book I encourage you to read called Collective Genius, that talks about the future of leadership requires you to be able to shape culture and capabilities. That we must move from just strategy and vision alone, but we must go from saying that we're going to lead people into the future into creating that future with them. I've been so blessed to be able to create a future with Marquez. And every time I talk to him, I don't call him Q, I call him a federal judge, because that's what he wants to be. The part of the crime problem is because we're not going to the beginning of a spectrum. Our young people, I talk to them all the time, they tell me face to face they are without hope. We know that many of them are in poverty. Q is a first-generation college graduate in 2023. There are still so many barriers that exist. For us to be able to solve the long-standing social problems in Chattanooga, it's going to require us to do something different. Mentorship can't just be about entertainment for these young people. It has to be, how are we going to prep them to go to college? Do they have the skills to participate in a CORDSA program, to be able to take those jobs? We know that innovation and technology is developing rapidly, so AI, robotics, if they're not taking part in this innovative sweep that is happening, they are already left behind. I encourage you, leaders of our dear city, be different, be bold, think outside the box, because that's where everything in the future exists. Stupidity or insanity, as my daddy says, is doing the same things over and over and expecting the results to be different. If we keep doing what we've been doing, don't expect a change. But if we want something different, we're going to have to stretch our minds and our capacity. We're going to have to dream again. We're going to have to envision not only a new future, but ask people, will they build it with us? To me, I don't think the young people who are making it out of this city are doing that without somebody encouraging them to be different and to be a catalyst for change. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Hi, I'm Nikki Keck. I'm one of the co-founders of Help Right Here, the nonprofit that manages the city-sanctioned encampment. First of all, I want to thank you for keeping the camp open another year. And I also really want to thank the City of Chattanooga and the Kelly administration for giving us the opportunity to manage the sanctioned encampment this past year. Since opening the camp on May 21st of 2022, we've had 117 people come into the camp, and we've had nearly 30 of those people housed. We like to think of 12th and People's Camp not as a destination, but as a layover, a very necessary step in their ladder to housing, so to speak. The camp allows the residents to be in a safe and stable environment, in which in turn allows them to heal and work towards housing. Residents are given the tools not only that they need to survive, but also thrive while they're living in the camp. It's not an easy task, managing the residents. It's a 24/7 job, but we give our love and support each and every day, and our interpersonal relationships with these people that we've worked really hard for over the past year, I know has aided in their success. We also require, I think, one of the big parts that has made it a success is that we require each resident to have a caseworker at the Homeless Health Care Center. And so they have really helped us get the residents forward and moving. We really appreciate the city and the necessary funding that you gave us to open the camp. It was absolutely amazing. But, you know, we definitely had to leverage that funding with donations and writing grants in order to make the camp more of a temporary home and not just tents and porta potties. In addition to the sanctioned camp, we have also opened up a camp on our own private property to help with the numbers of the homeless. Anne Marie, do you want to talk?
I'm Anne Marie Fitzsimmons, and I'm the other half of Help Right Here. I left my job at CSAS in May to help run the camp full-time. As we all know, it's now felony in the state of Tennessee to camp on public property. So we have this encampment, and then we've opened up a second encampment down the hill. It's called Camp Down There, because it's at 11th and Peoples. So we're currently caring for about 65 people. And coming from education, we were both beat into us about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in a high school, you see it. You have kids come in that can't do what they need to do because they don't get fed. They're not at home. They're somewhere else. And it's the same thing with homelessness. People have to have their basic needs met, and they have to feel safe in order to move upwards. And that's what these camps do, and that's why they're necessary. I forgot my notes, but I can't remember anything. This has been, I can't tell you how important and how wonderful. Can I have a little more time?
Thank you.
I just, running the camp has been the hardest, most beautiful
Excuse me,
thing.
I'm so sorry. No, ma'am. Were y'all sharing time? Is that what y'all-
No, she just finished hers, so
Sorry. Okay.
I'll just be quiet.
I've never done this before, so
okay.
we just wanted to be up here together.
Would y'all like-
I thank you for your time.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
She should have 2 minutes.
Her 2 minutes?
She did come up and start instead of just waiting.
Thank you.
Clock reset, so I appreciate it. She had her rest of her time.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I just want to express how wonderful the camp is. I mean, I may cry. We started out in a parking lot in 150-degree weather with our kids and my boyfriend and her husband setting up tents. And that's all it was. And now we have a giant community room, and we have a thrift store, and we have a beautiful garden that UTC has helped us build. And we really want to continue it. We want to continue to help because these people need help. If you're homeless or have been homeless, raise your hand. These are people, they're not numbers. And I really think that we need to start looking at homelessness as the humanitarian crisis that it is. Because if we don't house people, that is the biggest thing you can do, and we don't have housing. So Help Right Here is also working on housing. We're working on something to start building housing. So that's all. That's all. Come, please, we're gonna have an open house this summer, but if anybody wants a tour of the camp, all you gotta do
Anytime.
is an email. Jenny's seen it. So anybody else who wants to come see it, please come down. It's a
It's a
thing to
welcoming
wonder.
place.
It is. It's a home. It's not just a bunch of tents. It's a family. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Kaufman, and I was the 4th resident of the Brother People's Camp. And I was a total wreck. Okay, I was homeless. I couldn't stay sober, nothing like that. But they gave me an ultimatum one time, for getting drunk so much, go seek help. And I did. I went through a treatment program. I come back out, and it was through homeless health care, got everything took care of I needed through Alice Phillips, through Miss Babs. The 12th People's Camp is a foundation where you've got all the avenues right there. It ain't, do I need to get on a bus to go get my ID, or I need, gotta get on a bus to go get my social security card. They can help you with all of it right there. It's all centered around, the Chat Foundation, the homeless health care, and everything. I'm also here to, I work for HRH now part-time, okay? And we have started with the Homeless Coalition and some other outlets. We started the Peer Support Specialist group. We're in Tennessee, man, there ain't no certified by Tennessee peer support specialists here, and that's what we're training to do, go out and talk to people and get them, into the camp. Because if you're homeless, see, homeless people, a lot of people say, well, I ain't homeless because I'm living in a motel. If you ain't paying electric or gas or utilities, you're homeless. Okay, you're homeless to the motel. You're homeless if you're living in your car. You're homeless if you're sharing, a couch with people. You're homeless. Okay, because you're going from one dwelling to another. But if a person wants help, they've got to have something they can go to. Okay, and that was for 12th People's Camp when I sit back and looked, because your property don't get stolen. It ain't like the mission that you got to get out, early in the morning. If it's cold, I can go to the common tent that was donated to them here a while back. It's a big old white tent, and it's as big as this area right here. We got TV up there, common area, stove, ice box. I've got an apartment now. Okay, from August of last year, when I was fourth resident, I came in on May the 28th, 2022. Anyway, since then, I left camp in August because I went and found my apartment, duplex. Anyway, I got straight, got a place to live, got me a dog, okay, got me a little motor scooter, a little moped and everything, my Besta, and I got me a pickup truck just here last Wednesday. So I know, if the homeless, you ain't got to be homeless. If you really don't want to be, you can come up and get help. And I just ask y'all to support, help right here, please. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Terry Willingham, and I'm the 8th resident at the homeless camp over there. And coming down there made my life so much easier. It gave me something to do, somewhere to go. It gave me people, I met people that was really friendly. Anne Marie and Nikki are the best women out there. They did everything for me I needed. Now, the Homeless Coalition has put me in an apartment, and I'm moving forward, and I'd like for you all just to help more people, because even where I live, there's so many people hanging out because they don't have anywhere to go. And it's getting hard and rougher out there. But we need your help. I'm willing to go do whatever I need to do to get people to go by the rules and do the right things to make our city better. I've been here for 60 years, just hanging out and doing everything. I've been in trouble. I've been out of trouble, but I'm still enjoying this city. So if y'all could just help people and give them something to do, instead of hanging on the corner, some kind of activity for all of us. All the rec centers when I was a kid are getting shut down, or the activity programs are being taken away. So there's some kind of way you can do something for us out here. I believe this city will be better. The people will be better and get along with each other and quit causing trouble. All of our kids are growing up in these gangs because they have nothing to do. They're not interested in the programs you have out there. They need something to make them think, make them feel like they've accomplished, they're doing something. because that's what makes them have a good heart and a good head. I grew up and I'm so proud that I could stand here and speak because I had a chance. I went down there with Anne Marie and Nikki, and they made me a leader. Now, ain't nothing better. I love being a leader. And I'm following you guys. Y'all be our leaders and help us get something going in this city. And I thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Babs Grusko. I've been a social worker at the Homeless Health Care Center for over 10 years now. And I have seen the homeless population probably triple since 2012, since I've been there. And we have needed something like this for so long. The local hospitals seem to think that it's okay to just discharge to the street after you have your leg amputated or you have had a gunshot wound or something like that. And so they're on the street with all of their medications that get stolen and not able to take care of themselves. They get infections. So this camp has just really afforded the homeless a safe place to go. Nikki and Anne Marie have just totally embraced the idea of an emergency situation. So, for instance, just last Friday, I got a call from our medical director at night, and the local hospital had just discharged a man that had just had his leg amputated. And he was on a walker, and he had no place to go. His wife had completely cleared out $3,500 out of his checking account, so he had no place to go to the motel or anything like that. I called the managers, and they agreed for him to go into the camp, and that's where he is now. A local donor gave money so that we could buy a tent for them because they don't have any money right now to buy tents and sleeping bags and all of that. So he went in and he was sleeping in the community tent because it's huge and they have several couches and a big kitchen. I mean, it's an amazing place. It's just, and I wish you would all come down and see it. But these women have just been absolutely fabulous, just donating 24/7 time to this. And I don't know what we would do without it. And when our nurse manager at Homeless Health said, I don't know how we did without them. It's a safe place for our people where they are assured of food, water, shelter, toilets, and a sense of family. And it really is. It's really a cool place. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm John Rankin. When I was homeless about 3 years ago, I wish there would have been something like this, the 12th and People's Camp around. At that time, it probably could have gotten where I am a lot quicker. And so because they help people a lot, and it gives people hope when they're in a camp like the 12th and People's, because they go stay in a shelter and it's just lets them live for another day. It's a struggle. And so, but if they're in this camp though, it gives them hope because they know that they're going to get into a home. They know eventually that they're going to get into a place and going to help them get a job, get all their everything together that they need, give them support. And that's what the big part about the housing deal is. People need support after they're put in there. After being out on the streets for so long, you lose all idea of how to maintain an apartment or a house, because you just don't have to do it when you're on the street. And so with the help right here in the 12th and People's Camp, it implements a lot of that for people, and so it gives them strength and hope to move out and stay in a place instead of bouncing around. So, but I'm cutting out early, that's all I've got. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Liang, and I live in District 7. I'm glad to hear that the Animal Control Board will be reinstated, and I look forward to hearing more in the coming weeks. However, I'm here today to ask for your help in setting the record straight as to what is allowed and what is not, according to Chattanooga City Code. Go Dog Chattanooga has been disrupting the Southside neighborhood for nearly 6 months now. Despite the citations that were issued by McCamey and the court hearing on April 20th, the situation has not improved. Nearly every single day, we are still subject to the constant noise of barking dogs. Last Friday, the business published a statement to their customers and followers to address the situation, but they did not present an accurate account of what has been happening. Part of the statement says, quote, "We have complied with every code requirement and have been in lockstep with the city, beginning months before we kicked off construction. Again, there is no other dispute. We are fully operational and compliant and have full approval to conduct our business as usual. This has never been a question." End quote. The letter from the Land Development Office A letter from the Land Development Office dated February 22nd to GoDog directly contradicts this. According to this letter, quote, "It has come to the attention of the City of Chattanooga that the GoDog Chattanooga facility located at 255 West 20th Street is operating a business that is not permitted in the current form-based code zone," end quote. The letter goes on to say, quote, "Based on GoDog's own marketing and promotional collateral and the following image, it is very clear that outdoor animal care is being provided. Therefore, business activities must cease until such time that the city can confirm cessation of the non-permitted land use, animal care outdoor, and progress towards addressing other operational issues," end quote. In addition, we were told multiple times by city officials that any evidence of the business providing outdoor animal care could be considered a zoning violation. However, when we shared video evidence of staff members walking dogs outside in the rear yard on multiple occasions, nothing happened. At this point, we honestly don't know what's going on. We're not trying to shut this business down. We simply want them to follow city regulations, but nobody can seem to tell us what is allowed and what isn't. What good are the ordinances that this council approves if it's not clear which ones actually apply? And what good are they if they are not actually enforced? Does this not set a dangerous precedent for future businesses looking to open or expand into Chattanooga? We also know that GoDog planned to open a dog park and bar in this location. They've been collecting membership fees for almost a year and continue to promote their GoDog social offering on their marketing website. The area they were planning to use remains empty day after day, and they have not told any customers why it is not open and why it can't open with the current zoning. A business should not be allowed to misrepresent the facts about city regulations. The public deserves to know the truth. We as residents have the right to be informed. My ask to you, the City Council, is to respond directly to GoDog's statement. If you don't, what's stopping other businesses from abusing regulations and misleading the public in other ways? Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Council. Good evening. Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox. Inconsistency. I'm going to do this tomorrow at the County Commission. Inconsistencies. My first venture was not the Tennessee Multicultural Chamber of Commerce. It wasn't even the African American Chamber. One of my first ventures was a deal called giving aquarium a better place to live than you do human beings. It's called the Tennessee Aquarium versus Kirtland Technical High School. And so on yesterday, and let me say to the council here that former city councilman Anthony Byrd misses you. Had a chance to see him on yesterday. It was very, very interesting, but it was uninformative for you all. I think more of less, this goes to the city attorney. On tomorrow, I'm going up and we're going to discuss these fraud issues, all of this federal funding, all of this help for the homeless that doesn't seem to be helping the homeless. I know I'm there and I'm still coming here. I've been here before God created America, seems like, and I'm still going over the same challenges. I'm really tired of it. So, Mr. Attorney, on yesterday, the former city councilman, now in charge of the city clerk's office, tried to engage me in a plea bargain agreement deal. Dismissed charges 30 years ago. He wants me to agree for you all to pay my driver's license fee in lieu of $105,670,000,000. All of the charges are dismissed, every single one. So I can't beat you in general sessions and family court and all that and then lose at the federal level. I want my money. I'm getting ready to have you, Councilman Byrd, Jay Price, Alan Dunn, I can go on, former Judge Walter Williams. See, you restricted my driver's license. You made me a ghost target for the world. Restricting my privileges, setting me up. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Brad Wardlaw. I'm here speaking on behalf of the Greater Chattanooga Coalition of Private Property Rights. We are a group that is formed in opposition of your Airbnb short-term vacation rental policies. This council and the mayor's office has only talked about the negatives with us for the last year when we have brought up the communities. We have brought in $30 million of bookings in 2022, $90 million worth of direct impact to the city, $160 million of indirect economic impact. We paid the county $1.2 million in lodging taxes. We paid the city $1.2 million in lodging taxes. The state got $5.2 million in lodging taxes. We do a lot for the city. You have no problem spending our money, but you vilify what we do. We're prepared to file legal action. So once this is passed, once it becomes law, we have attorneys retained, and we will move forward against the city and the mayor's office. We believe that this legislation is nothing more than a political hit piece driven by the mayor's office and his group. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tom Purdy, live in Rakita's district. I applaud you on your efforts to get the short-term vacation rental ordinance in place. A lot of us have been, from the community, have been working with the city council and have been able to observe every step of the way that you've done. The meetings have been open. I think you've taken an input from both the short-term vacation operators and from the citizens. I think what you've done is incredibly insightful in terms of protecting the rights of citizens and residents of the city. There's no reason that any business has to be located in a neighborhood. There's no God-given right that anybody has a right in the city of Chattanooga to open a barber shop, a mall, a salon, a doctor's office in any of our neighborhoods. And short-term vacation rental operators are small businesses, large businesses. Sometimes they're in town, sometimes they're out of town. But I think what you've done is put together a very reasonable approach that should service the citizens of Chattanooga as we move forward. So saying thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, council, I don't see anyone else wishing to address council. What's your pleasure?